make a lot of garbage. This pile contains trash thrown out by just 3 people in just one day. If all this stuff gets put into the garbage, it will be picked up and dumped into a huge pit called a transfer station. All kinds of things are mixed together, crushed, smashed, and bulldozed into trucks. A lot of it would be worth something if it had been separated. But once it gets in here, it's on a one-way trip to the landfill. A landfill is a place where a big hole is dug into the ground, then filled with many layers of garbage and dirt. The 3 active landfills in Alameda County will hold enough waste to bury the entire city of Oakland under 5.5 feet of garbage. But we're running out of places to put landfills, and we need our land for more important things, like parks, farms, houses, and places for wild animals to live. So if we want to protect our land, we'd be a lot smarter to keep things out of the garbage in the first place. Let's look at this pile of trash again. The amazing thing is, almost none of this stuff really needs to go to the landfill. Some things should never have been bought in the first place. We can reduce the amount of garbage we make by avoiding things that come in packages. And before we buy anything, we should think about what we'll do with it after we use it. Kids in this class are thinking of ways to reuse things, like plastic bottles and glass jars that are often found in the trash. They're coming up with lots of ideas, like using a plate to make a mask. Just about everyone recycles bottles, cans, and paper at home. Every city in Alameda County has curbside pickup, and lots of people take cans and bottles to buyback centers to get money. Some people are letting leftover food and yard waste rot in composting bins. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. These are the 4 ways we can keep the piles of garbage in the landfills from growing. A lot of the garbage we throw out at home is packaging, like boxes, plastic wrapping, and styrofoam. By changing how we shop, we can reduce the amount of garbage we produce.
Why don't you buy the bulk tomatoes?
It's better to buy vegetables and grains in bulk. Bring a bag so that you don't end up with packaging that you'll just have to throw away. We probably can't buy everything in bulk, but we can always try to buy things that come in packaging that uses recycled materials. Look for this symbol on the box. An important and easy way to stop waste is to reuse things. It means that instead of throwing things away, we find some way to use them again or pass them on to someone else. When you take clothes that don't fit anymore to a thrift store in your neighborhood, you're letting other people reuse them. Goodwill is one place that sorts and sells tons of clothes in Alameda County. People get good clothes at low prices, and stuff that would have been thrown away is kept out of the landfill. Things that aren't sold here are sent to companies like United Textiles that sell them to people in different countries around the world. Clothing that's too worn out can be cut into rags, which are used for cleaning up by people like mechanics and janitors. Lots of families do the same thing at home, using rags made from worn-out clothing. Doors, windows, sinks, cabinets, and other things that were saved when old buildings were remodeled or torn down are sold to places like Urban Ore in Berkeley. This stuff used to go into landfill, but now it's bought by builders, carpenters, and homeowners who use it to fix up houses. The East Bay Depot for Creative Reuse is a place that collects odds and ends that most people would consider junk and sells them really cheap to artists, teachers, and other people who need materials for art and science projects. The depot takes some of these supplies to events like Oakland's Festival of the Lake to give people a chance to discover how much they can do with this kind of stuff. And they even put on an art show. Every piece was made from materials that someone threw away.
It's really creative, I think. It's a nice way to recycle old things and make them new again into art and stuff.
Instead of throwing away, you could make stuff out of it and stuff. Yeah. I'll probably make a rocket or something.
Like, look over there, that picture thing.
I know. I wonder how they made that.
I usually go through the garbage every week at my house, and I take stuff out and I use it for art projects.
I like this place. It's wonderful.
Everything's pretty
Recycling in a whole different way.
Oh my gosh! When we think about recycling, most of us think about separating bottles, cans, and paper at home. But what about recycling at school? Lots of paper is used at school, and almost all of it can be recycled. There should be bins for aluminum cans and glass, too. Does your school have bins for recycling? The places where grown-ups work use a lot of paper, too. This office helps people recycle by giving everyone a box near their desk where they can put paper to be collected. Companies in Alameda County collect and sell thousands of tons of recycled paper every year. This means we don't have to cut down so many trees. What happens to the paper and cardboard that we recycle? When we recycle at home and at school, we're not just getting rid of trash, we're helping to make useful new products. Recycled paper and cardboard can be used to make new paper. This vat is like a giant blender that's turning old cardboard into a pasty soup. The soup makes new paper that's rolled up on big spools. If we didn't recycle, this company wouldn't be able to make this paper. The things we set out in recycling bins in front of our homes are sorted at places like this. Here, aluminum cans, tin cans, glass of different colors, and plastic of different types are sorted into bins. If you want to make new things from this stuff, it's very important to keep everything separate. At neighborhood buyback centers, you can get money for aluminum cans and glass containers that have been sorted by color. We can see how this recycled glass is used to make new bottles at a factory in Oakland. This looks like gravel, but it's really glass that has been broken into tiny pieces. Along with sand and other materials, this recycled glass is melted in a furnace and used to make new jars and bottles. This factory uses about 10 truckloads of recycled glass every day. When someone buys these new jars and bottles, the recycling circle will be complete. And with glass, this cycle can keep going forever. There are hundreds of thousands of backyards in Alameda County that produce grass clippings, leaves, and yard trimmings. Instead of throwing this stuff in the garbage, where it will end up in the landfill, we can let it rot in a composting bin. Composting creates a rich soil that helps plants grow. Do you know that worms help turn garbage into good, clean dirt? That's right, worms. Wiggle-E Worm, the composting mascot, shows kids how to keep worms in a box, where they make dirt from paper and food scraps.
This is cool, dude. This is hecka cool.
Many families recycle their own yard and kitchen waste by composting at home. People who want help getting started can go to classes offered by Alameda County Waste Management Authority's home composting program. In some communities, the garbage company picks up wood and yard waste and takes it to be ground up. Bigger wood chips are burned to generate electricity, and the finer material is composted. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. There's hardly anything that needs to get thrown out. California Superintendent of Schools, Delane Easton, believes that kids understand this better than anyone else.
Kids have a real sixth sense about this recycling stuff. They're very, very good at it. And they're good at chiding the adults about doing it in a nice way. I think at some level they really understand the value of the environment and the value of us being kinder to it. And so I think the kids may be the secret to us really understanding why we must recycle and doing a better job at it.
It seems like almost everyone is into the environment, and kids today are growing up knowing a lot more about the environment than their parents did. That's good, because when it comes to preventing waste, there's a lot kids can do. Kids are helping to reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot at home and at school. And we can encourage our parents to do the same. Make less waste. Don't litter. Don't throw things away if they can be used again. Separate paper, glass, metal, and plastic from your trash. Compost if you can. And remember that the recycling circle isn't complete until products made with recycled materials are bought and put back into use. If we share responsibility for taking care of the earth now, we'll have a better life in the future. And we can feel good knowing that each of us is doing our part.